All right, Mike McCarthy was through some stuff in his first game as head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He addressed yesterday, going back, watching the game copy of that call of pass interference on receiver Michael Gallup that wiped out a long game that would have potentially given the Cowboys a chance to win, at a minimum given them a chance to tie. Here is Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy addressing his reaction when he had a chance to look at the video of the call that was made.
I mean, the Michael Gallup call, I mean, it's just made me sick when I watched the TV copy. I thought Michael ran an excellent route. He gets his hips over top of the DBs, and DB attempts to clamp his arm, and actually is clamped his arm, and he pulls his arm out and makes a catch. It's definitely a call you like see not happen, and I know everybody wants to talk about the time of the game and and the way the game was called to that point, but at the end of the day, it was an excellent route and throw and completion by Michael Gallup and Dak.
Now, it was McCarthy who talked about the time of the game after the game. He said, basically, I don't expect a flag to be thrown in that situation. It's where the whistle gets swallowed and the flag gets jammed down into the pocket. His argument yesterday was on the merits, that it shouldn't have been a call under any set of circumstances, that it wasn't pass interference. And, I remember a time when coaches were worried about getting fined for criticizing officiating. If he doesn't get fined, at a minimum, there's going to be a memo sent out this week. There's going to be a memo to go along with the make sure you wear your masks memo. Yeah. Be sure to drink your Ovaltine. And a be sure not to criticize the officials or else. And I'm surprised right out of the gates. And I know the NFL's got a lot of other stuff they're worrying about, but I have a feeling that's going to register on someone's radar screen, and McCarthy's going to get a reminder along with the rest of the coaches, don't criticize the officiating.
Well, I would imagine so. You're right. Again, I think this is why I'm glad we don't have pass interference replay. I thought it was pass interference. If you don't call that, we're never going to, like the DBs, we're never going to stop anybody. That's just my look. That really is. The defensive backs are already at such a disadvantage. Yes, there was hand fighting going on, but when you have that final push, as you see there.
Look, he's got his arm locked. He's got to get his arm free.
What do you mean? His arm's not locked? I can see the open.
Go back on.
Jalen Ramsey's hands wide open.
Yeah, because he's pushing away now.
Okay, well,
he had his arms.
I think
look right there.
Okay,
he's got his arm grabbed very subtly.
But very subtly. You're right. And you know what? Why has Michael Gallup got his arm on him already? Why did he do it? Jalen Ramsey didn't create that contact. Gallup put his hand on Jalen Ramsey to start, and then extends. So I have no problem with that call. My big question when I hear those type of things from Mike McCarthy in the press conference is I want to just go, my next question would be, Coach, are you going to coach your receiver to do the same thing next week in the game? That would be my answer. And if he says yes, I would go, well, man, we're going to see this weekly basis. Because New England, teams that win like that, Bill Belichick is going to fix his team off a play like that and go, we can't do that. That's going to get called. Yeah, I might not think it's pass interference, but here's another smart coach that thinks it is pass interference. So we got to coach this off our team. Go ahead. What do you got to say?
This is the next level that a Bill Belichick would take it. Bill Belichick knows which crew is more likely to call.
Probably that too.
Isn't.
Probably.
Here's the thing, though. The crews have been reshuffled this year because of geographic proximity. They want minimum travel for the officials, but I think that's a factor as well. You know who's more likely to call that. You know who's less likely to call that. And it's just another factor that gets put into this giant vat, this giant blender of circumstances. And I don't know how aware you can expect your receivers to be in a given moment or in a given game, but that's part of coaching.
Yeah,
hey, today, right. Hey, Michael, today, don't be afraid to give them a little something. You can get away with it today. Next week, maybe not. Today, You can get away with it. And I think that's part of good coaching. It's one of the reasons why Belichick has 6 Super Bowl championships.
Definitely. Don't disagree with you one bit there. Smart coaches, this referee crew, hey, DBs, they're a little loose with, how much you can hit a receiver in that 5-yard box. They'll let you hit him 7-8 yards downfield. So if you want to take one more shot at the receiver when he goes past side, go ahead, do it this week, whatever that may be. Yes, coaches usually have a good feel for that, but I think generally the really good coaches will try to coach that stuff out of their players' games altogether. just to be like, we're going to play, this is the rules, we're going to play by the rules, because when I enforce them and I'm on them every day in practice, it translates to the game, and then we don't have a 50-50, whether that's a penalty or not type moment in the biggest moment of the football game. And I think that's what really good coaches would do. And I would imagine that Mike McCarthy at some point tells them just, hey, yeah, everything was great. Maybe just watch the extension of the arms, because as we saw even with like A.J. Green at the end of that Chargers-Bengals game, that was a little more egregious, but it's the same type of thing. Once those arms go like this and they're connected to a DB and the DB shows any sign of being affected by it, the referees see that, and they might not even always see it clearly. They just see the extended arms, and they're going to throw it out.
Whatever the penalty, Bill Belichick is going to drill it into his guys to avoid it, because that will kill you in little bits and pieces. It screws up field position. It kills drives. It extends drives to the opposing offense. It's 5, 10, 15 yards, spot foul for pass interference on the defense that can completely destroy your chance of winning. So it's a point well taken. But I do think that reasonable minds can differ on whether or not that was pass interference.
Yes.
And some officials are going to call it and some aren't.
Exactly.
And the challenge is to figure out which ones will and which ones won't. And in those games where they won't, you give them a little extra, just a little pop, just a little pop, just a little something.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.